Joe and I have been dating for, do you want to answer this?
Nope.
Okay, good. We've been dating for a little over 5 years.
And now we're engaged.
We are opposites in every sense of the word, and yeah, it has been kind of a blessing in this relationship because we do complement each other in a lot of key areas.
I am a CODA, which stands for Child of Deaf Adult. So my dad, Rob, is deaf. I think we have a really unique dynamic, my dad and I, because it's a pretty atypical role that you'll see a deaf person in today, where I feel like a lot of times we see the deaf person as being reliant on someone else or having sort of a provider for them, whereas in our situation, my dad raised me.
Melina and I have been best friends for 27 years. We first met at Kutztown University.
You know, our bond just grew stronger and stronger as friends, and I mean, really like sisters.
Yeah. Melina, what you see is what you get. As soon as you see her, she's in there full force. I'm a little reserved, but then once you get to know me, then I'm like, you'll get to see the goofy side and the bubbly side.
We have a lot of similarities. We share an apartment in Chicago.
We both work at the same consulting firm.
We both kind of like routine.
I have the same thing for breakfast every day. It's oatmeal.
Me too.
Eliana's my daughter. It's special because it's a relationship I never thought I was going to have. She's my very firstborn after the doctor says I couldn't have children. We're very similar. She's a mini-me. We're identical in a lot of ways.
Which means we're very close, but we also butt heads.
But we get along.
I know, it's like you love someone and you want to strangle them so much at the same time.
I'm a software engineer at an AI company.
And I'm a product manager.
I'm the younger brother.
I'm the older. Spent 18 years living in the same room, same bunk bed.
Sleeping in the same bunk. Even when we go back home, we sleep in the same bunk bed.
Yeah.
So Johnny, kind of all growing up, he was the person that I always looked up to. I always wanted to do what Johnny was doing.
Over the last 20 years, we've kind of developed this work marriage.
One of us has to be the boss. A lot of time it's more me than him, because I'm always right.
I think it is hard because the lines of husband and wife, coworker, boss, and blur. When you come home, you don't have a spouse to complain to. Can you believe that idiot coworker I have? Oh no, it's you, sorry.
We are high school sweethearts. We've been married for 15 years, but I will say that there was a period in our life where we hit a really rough patch in our marriage. And
we almost didn't make it. It was pretty close.
Yeah.
Lena and I have a very interesting relationship. It's kind of a
Oil and water.
Oil and water.
So my sister is rather bossy. She is the oldest sibling.
Old habits die hard. Part of our growth or part of our evolution is how do I start to look at Lena as like another one of my girlfriends, not as my little sister.
I have been married for a little over 2 years, almost 3 years. And before that, no one could hold a candle to my dad.
Ann Lee was the boy I never had. Everything that you think you would teach a boy, Ann Lee's learned out there. We always have deer leases where you lease land to go hunt on. Learn to build a fire, change a flat tire.
I think teams are gonna think that I'm just this little Miss Texas, but little do they know, I come with a punch.
We met in the Army about 22 years ago, and we've been friends ever since. We were both getting deployed for an 18-month deployment to Iraq, and he got hurt, ditched me.
I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah. There was one thing that got me through, however. On the Armed Forces Network, the Amazing Race was always on. And that's where I fell in love with it and said, someday, we're gonna do this. We can do this together.
We were forced to grow up very young. Our parents divorced, and it was a pretty nasty divorce.
That event in our lives, it caused some deep scars in our family. Mine and Liam's relationship specifically took a toll for a really long time. But as we spend more time around each other, we've developed a lot more trust.
This past year, Jeremy is just, he's really the only thing that's just holding me together.
I was married for 12 years. And one day he wasn't feeling good, and I talked him into going to the doctor the next day. And he was immediately admitted into the hospital and diagnosed with leukemia. And 2 months to the day later, he passed away. 9 months after I found out I had a brain tumor. Thank God the tumor came back clean. They were able to get the whole thing. But I was completely depressed until one morning I made a resolution to myself that I was gonna get my health in order so I could be there for my kids. Part of the reason why we wanted to come onto the Amazing Race was hopefully it gives someone else hope.